We're continuing on counting down the top 100 basic magic items, and now item number 80. If you like tricking the enemies and throwing a little bit of randomness into your magic items, then the Deck of Illusions is the item for you. Coming in at spot number 80, the Deck of Illusions allows you to throw down a random card from a deck, and it creates an illusory creature. These creatures range from a simple goblin to a red dragon. You can control this illusion within 120 feet of yourself. Now for stealth missions or times when the party just wants to cause chaos, this is a fantastic magic item. There are way more hits in the Deck of Illusions than duds. You have a high likelihood to get more of the really impactful illusions like giants or beholders rather than some of the less useful ones like goblins. And if you use the Deck of Illusions in combat, it requires an action, a DC 15 investigation check, in order to understand that this is an illusion. Or if something physical passes through the illusion, then it is revealed. But that's still a huge time waster in combat. Since the Deck of Illusions can be used by anyone and is versatile in and out of combat, I feel confident in putting it at spot number 80 on this list. Plus, it's an uncommon item that doesn't even require attunement. And that's actually the same for the next item on the list, one of the cornerstones of all D&D items at number 79, the simple, the wonderful Bag of Holding. With this bag, you have a pocket dimension that can hold up to 500 pounds and 64 cubic feet of items. What can I say about the Bag of Holding that hasn't already been said? Carrying objects in Dungeons & Dragons, transporting them across vast distances is a problem that every party faces. With the Bag of Holding, you're able to transport heavy or extremely valuable items very easily. It is a simple tool that saves you and your party so many headaches. As a dungeon master for many parties, I'm just tempted to give it out immediately, because it is that helpful for everyone involved. And not only that, but the Bag of Holding has a secondary benefit, because when you place the Bag of Holding inside another extra dimensional space, it creates what is essentially a black hole. This hole opens a gateway to the astral plane and sucks any creature within 10 feet of it into the gate, and the creature cannot come back through. It is essentially a delete button for any creature close by. It's a wonderful emergency button to have in any party's back pocket. And so because of that added benefit, the fact that it's only an uncommon item so you can get it very quickly, and it saves the party so much time and energy, the Bag of Holding has to come in at spot 79. And coming up next, perhaps a bit controversially, at spot 78 are the Wings of Flying. Now, why are the Wings of Flying ahead of the Winged Boots? Well, the simple reason is this. While the Wings of Flying has a lower overall potential, it gives a base flying speed of 60 feet, while the Winged Boots only give a base flying speed equal to your walking speed. Additionally, the way that the Wings of Flying recharges its flying capacity is superior to the Winged Boots. Additionally, the Wings of Flying's recharge time, while theoretically a bit slower than the Winged Boots, is not enough to downgrade them in any way. Theoretically, if you roll 1s on all your 1d12 rolls to recharge your Wings of Flying, you can fly 3 hours in a 6-hour time period. And there are many scenarios where the Wings of Flying are actually recharging much faster than the Winged Boots. Because of this, if you're using both items to their full capacity, you're actually able to get more flying out of the Wings of Flying than the Winged Boots. And also, let's just come at this from the aesthetic perspective. Which is cooler for your character? To have boots that lift you up, or to have literal bat wings or bird wings extend out of your back for an hour, making you look like an avenging angel? For me, the wings are just cooler. They inspire me more when I'm playing my character, and I think that we have to take that into account with these items. Not only do we want items that are mechanically brilliant, but also aesthetically brilliant as well. And for this reason, we have the Wings of Flying coming in at spot 78. But coming up next is one of the few cursed items that I considered for this list. At spot 77 is the Berserker Ax. This simple weapon has a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls, and gives you a hit point maximum increase by 1 for each level you've obtained. So if you're at 10th level, you gain 10 extra hit points. If you're in a party with limited healing, or you're the only frontline fighter, this increase in your hit point maximum is huge. Now, what's the curse? Well, the curse is twofold. For one, you can pretty much only use this weapon. And secondly, if you are hit by a hostile creature in combat, and if you fail a wisdom saving throw, you go berserk, and essentially start attacking the closest creature to you. It's difficult to gauge how damaging this particular item is, because in some parties, you going berserk with this particular item is not really a big deal. Because you end the berserk when you start your turn and there are no creatures within 60 feet of you. If you're in a party full of backline spellcasters or archers, this is not a difficult requirement to hit. You can go out of your berserking rage in combat and then you're just fine. However, in certain situations you might then go and try and attack your friends. However, with proper party planning or a cleric with remove curse, this item's negative curse and effect become a lot less damaging. In fact, if you have a way to remove curse, my suggestion is if you're going into a boss fight, then you equip this item. If there's only one big enemy, like say, I don't know, an ancient red dragon, and you run up to this creature and start hitting it, then you have very little chance of other party members getting in the way, and for you accidentally doing damage to your own team. The Berserker Ax is very party dependent, but those extra hit points can get you out of so many tough jams. And it is a +1 weapon, so since there are ways to get around the curse with just a bit of extra party planning, I'm comfortable with putting the Berserker Ax at spot 77 on this list. And at spot 76 is another item useful for every single class, the Ring of Spell Storing. The name says exactly what it does. You can store a spell up to 5th level inside the ring, and by touching the ring you can cast the spell. Now, if you're a spellcaster, this essentially gives you an extra spell, which is always great. But if you're a martial character or a character without the ability to cast spells, now you're opening up your entire playbook. Because you can have your wizard or sorcerer friend cast a spell into the ring, and then you can go about and use it on your own. A pocket sending spell, fireball, or pass without trace are all powerful options. If a group only needs one spell to be cast and otherwise doesn't need a spellcaster, the Ring of Spell Storing comes in clutch. And the great thing about this ring is it also allows you to use powerful NPCs to your advantage, because this item allows you to use the spell DC of the caster who put the spell inside the ring. Maybe you can't bring a powerful archmage with you on a mission, however, you can store their whole person with a save DC of 20 in your Ring of Spell Storing. The only thing holding this item back truly is that it can only hold one spell. This gives it limited usefulness in certain situations because you might think that you need a fireball when you actually need a cone of cold. You think you want invisibility, but what you really needed is featherfall. And because those situations pop up all the time with this particular item, I think it's only fair that it comes in at spot 76. It's no pushover, its ability is incredibly powerful, but it does have its limitations. And coming in next at spot 75 is another ring with an extremely powerful ability that again has limitations. This is the rare item known as the Ring of Xray Vision. Oh, the Ring of Xray Vision. This is one of the best items you can possibly take into a dungeon. How many times have you begun to walk through a dungeon door and thought, wait a minute, what if there are enemies on the other side? Let's listen for enemies. Let's see what's happening in there. The Ring of Xray Vision allows you to bypass all of this. Trying to look through a door? No problem. Checking to see if a treasure chest is a mimic in disguise? Easy. Want to try to glance through the floor after prying up some stone tiles to see if you can just burrow down to the next level of the dungeon? Go ahead. Once again, you'll be shocked at just how many situations you can use the Ring of Xray Vision in. Now, its drawback is that you can only use it once per long rest unless you succeed on a DC 15 Constitution saving throw. If you succeed, you're fine. You can use the ring again without incident. If you fail, you gain 1 level of exhaustion. Now, once again, you can offset this downside pretty easily. You can give the Ring of Xray Vision to a high constitution character, like a fighter or a barbarian. The ranger with their tireless ability that helps them remove a level of exhaustion, and is also now a prime candidate for the Ring of Xray Vision after Tasha's Cauldron of Everything has been released. Or you can just simply bite the bullet and take the level of exhaustion. Sometimes if you know that you're not going to be needing to make lots of ability checks, it's perfectly okay to take 1 level of exhaustion. 2 levels is a pretty steep price, and 3 levels of exhaustion is when you are being absolutely crippled in 5th edition. But all that is up to you as the player, and the Ring of Xray Vision gives you ways to mitigate these deficiencies within its item description. And again, I don't want to understate just how valuable it is to be able to look through these solid surfaces for up to a minute. So don't get it twisted, the Ring of Xray Vision absolutely deserves its spot on this list. And coming up next is another D&D staple item, the portable hole. The portable hole is exactly what it sounds like. It makes a portable hole. You stick this black fabric on any flat surface, and a hole opens up. The hole is cylindrical and 10 feet deep, allowing you to store a lot within it. Even your party mates. See, here's the thing a lot of people miss. A creature can survive for up to 10 minutes within the portable hole, just breathing the air that's inside of it. Meaning, if you have a dungeon master that does group stealth checks, and if anyone fails the stealth check, the entire group fails, the portable hole allows you to get around that little fact. Because the rogue in the party can lay out the portable hole, have the party jump inside, roll up the portable hole, and then go about their stealthing business for the next 10 minutes. Now you're making only one stealth check at +8. I forget the actual math, but I read somewhere that in a party with a rogue, cleric, fighter, and wizard, this increases your chances of a successful stealth check by something like 80%, which is fantastic. The portable hole gives you so much bang for your buck. The ability to hide things, including other creatures within an extra-dimensional space, and transport them is a powerful problem-solving tool. I'm going to be running a political intrigue campaign very, very soon, and you have to bet that I'm going to be putting the portable hole up for sale in my campaign store immediately. Because really, what D&D player doesn't want the opportunity to lay out a 10-foot deep hole anywhere they want? So I would have to be crazy not to put the portable hole here at spot 74 on the list. Now, coming up at number 73 is a potion, another consumable item which we know that I don't think very highly of. But this particular potion is so good, I have seen it single-handedly win boss fights. And once again, my thought process is, if I take this item for one boss fight, do I want it or all the other items before it on the list? If it's a boss fight I really need to win, or a fight where it seems absolutely impossible that I could win it, then yeah, I'm gonna want to take this potion. Give this potion to a fighter, to a barbarian, to a paladin, to a rogue, to a monk, to a wizard, to a warlock, to anybody, and you have yourself a powerhouse. I can only be talking about, of course, the Potion of Speed. This very rare potion provides a simple benefit. For 1 minute, you are under the effects of the haste spell, without concentration. What's the main downside of the haste spell? Well, when you lose concentration where the spell ends, you essentially lose your next turn. But you are in no danger of losing your turn when you drank this potion. Your speed is now doubled. Your AC, that's increased by 2. You have advantage on all dexterity saving throws, and you gain an additional action. I mean, wow, the haste spell is a fantastic buff spell. Used in the right situations, it can absolutely swing the tides of a D&D combat. I cannot overstate how incredible this advantage is. There is a reason why the Potion of Speed is a very rare item. I'd actually say that after drinking this potion, a character punches up about 2 levels from where they were. Give an entire party potions of speed and walk them into a battle, and they can probably punch up about 4 or 5 CR levels higher. Now, I understand that some people out there might be thinking, this potion isn't that good. And my response to that is just use it in your own D&D games. And if you have a DM who uses the common house rule that you can quaff a potion as a bonus action, oh my god, I take this potion before practically any others. I take this over a supreme healing potion, I take this over a potion of giant strength, I take it over so many other different items. This potion is a literal cheat code if you're fighting something like a dragon, or some other large creature that relies on dexterity saving throws and lots of damage. Doubling your speed plus a free disengage or dodge action, that's just so powerful versus the right creatures. I've probably spent too much time already going over this item, but I have to give it lots of love. So I stand by my placement of the Potion of Speed here at spot 73 on the list. And next, at spot 72, beating out the Potion of Speed and everything before it, a +1 set of armor. New DMs might be scratching their heads at this one. A +1 set of armor. How good is that really? Well, to explain this, we need to get into a concept in 5th edition called bounded accuracy. Bounded accuracy is a design principle which limits the numeric bonuses to d20 based rolls. In simplified terms, what does this mean? The bonuses you gain in 5th edition D&D are smaller than in previous editions, meaning that a dungeon master can use low-level creatures against a higher-level party. They will still be able to hit high-level characters. In previous editions, you would literally just outscale the lower-level monsters. A goblin would not be able to hit an AC 34 character, because we had those at one point. We can get there in 5th edition, but it's very, very, very difficult. And it requires just the right magic items in just the right way. However, this also means that any numeric increase to something like an attack roll modifier or to your AC has powerful effects, because since you're operating on that same scale, you only have a limited number of steps up. That's why the weapons only go up to a +3. A +3 is the equivalent of a +15% to hit if we're looking at a d20 roll. When we pair that with a proficiency bonus, a character at 20th level with a +3 longsword and a proficiency bonus of +6, in rough design terms has a +45% chance to hit than they would have at first level with just a regular standard weapon. I'm simplifying a lot here, so don't pick up your pitchforks and torches and come at me in the comments. I'm trying to put this in general terms. But on the flip side, when we get a +1 to our AC, let's imagine it as a -5% chance to hit. Now, while you can scale a character, you can't really scale the lower level monsters. That goblin doesn't have a proficiency bonus that levels with the characters. So every bonus that you're giving to AC not only lowers the effectiveness of lower level creatures, but also higher level creatures. Some higher level creatures, like adult dragons, expect a higher or boosted AC depending on the level. If you look at the Dungeon Master's Guide, they're expecting a +1 piece of armor at around 5th to 10th level to be given out. That brings it in line with the design principles of those CR 7 to 10 boss creatures. So naturally, that +1 piece of armor is going to maintain its power throughout the entire game. It's going to give that -5% bonus to all creatures. But at some level, especially if you have a scaling set of armor like leather armor, you are going to begin to leave those lower level enemies in the dust. And if you give out even a +1 set of armor too early, you begin to throw off 5th edition's bounded accuracy. And that's the trade-off. While as Dungeon Masters, we can still use every monster in the monster manual, just adjusting the ratios that we send them at their players from levels 1 to 20. I mean, theoretically, you'd have to send like 100 goblins at a level 20 character for them to even be a threat. But theoretically possible, and you can still use those lower level enemies for much longer. They're never going to have a situation where they cannot hit the players. But in that same vein, we have a much lower margin of error. Messing with the numbers, even with a +1, has a huge effect. And I really wish Wizards of the Coast brought this up a lot more, because they basically do not explain this concept in the Dungeon Master's Guide. And this leads to new Dungeon Masters unknowingly walking into an absolute shitstorm. So with all of this being said, I mean, yeah, +1 armor, it's really damn good. You should really consider picking up +1 armor as soon as you can. Any plus to AC is really good. And so for that, spot 72 on the list. And at spot 71, we have the Cloak of Elvenkind. This little uncommon item gives anyone trying to see you make a perception check against you disadvantage, and gives you advantage on all stealth checks made to hide and uses sight, really. Most DMs that I've played with use stealth checks in terms of sight. Does the guard see you? Yes or no? In that case, you're going to have advantage on that stealth check because the Cloak of Elvenkind is going to help you blend in. Or if it's contested, you making a stealth check, them making a perception check, then this item is double dipping. You're getting advantage and they're getting disadvantage. That is powerful stuff. Going off advanced statistics, having this item while double dipping is the equivalent of having a +8 to your stealth modifier. +8. For an uncommon magic item that also allows the color to shift and camouflage into the background, allowing you to hide just about anywhere. Yeah, that's really, really good. I fear any rogue who has this item. I fear any character with proficiency in stealth who has this item, to be truthful. So because of all the power that the Cloak of Elvenkind provides, I'm fairly confident putting it here at spot 71 on the list. And if you're enjoying this series, please consider subscribing, as most of my viewers are not subscribed. And check out this video right here. If you've stuck around this long, you're probably the type of player that really wants to up your D&D game, and this video right here is going to help you do it. Otherwise, thank you for entering the dungeon.